The following podcast is part of the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. For advertising information or to find more great podcasts, visit us at www.theunderdogsports.com and follow us on Twitter at RealTheUnderdog.
Okay. Well, just for the record, we got the Sunny in Phoenix too. 52.
Everyone, and welcome to the Sunny in Phoenix podcast, a weekly podcast where we keep you up to date on everything Phoenix Suns basketball. My name is Charlie Erling, and as always, I'm joined by Mitch Krmpotich.
I don't know about you, but I feel good.
I don't know about you, but I feel good.
I feel great, and just letting you listeners know, that was the quickest in-between Mitch has ever had in his intro. Because we're pressed for time today a little bit, so we're going to be a little quick.
In the biz, they say, I have a hard out.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Suns, though, won the series against the Clippers. We'll quickly break down those last three games. After that, we'll be talking about the upcoming series against the Denver Nuggets and some fun news when it comes to how you'll be watching the Phoenix Suns next year on TV.
Shout outs are in order for our bet question from last week. Shout out to friend of the show, the man who needs no introduction but gets a really long one anyway. The man who I will be seeing in San Francisco at the end of August. Josh Cranowetter at Josh Cran on Twitter. We were guessing Devin Booker points in game 4, and Josh just happened to be the closest. Between the two of us, this was very close. I won just by a hair, because I said 28 points, Charlie, you said 33, and Booker had 30. So it was as close as it could get. The season series, you still have the lead 8-7, but the playoffs are now tied 1-1.
I'll take it. We were both close. We were right in the range, so we're all right. I was 3 off. You were 2 off. We've been pretty hot lately.
We have. We've been pretty spot on for the most part.
All right, let's move into it, though, and talk about the series against the Los Angeles Clippers. So after losing game 1, the Suns come back and win the next 4. And I believe that's called a backdoor sweep.
I've heard the douchebag sweep as well is another name for it. That's a no-dunks term. I don't know if I have to bleep that, but...
I like that. We'll take it. But, I don't know if I recall ever seeing the Suns, probably not, lose game 1 and then win the next 4. No, we definitely haven't, because for the fact that we didn't win a series at home since 2007, I don't think that would have been possible.
Yep. We have not had the greatest luck in game 5s for the most part.
Right, but very cool to be able to close it out in front of the home fans for the first time, in this recent memory, the last 2 years of Suns basketball. Cool to close one out at home. But we'll talk about each game a little bit here. We'll start back at game 3. And this was a win, 129-124. And this is when Kawhi, we found out he wouldn't be playing. And, this is something that may have happened in game 1, is what they're saying. But he ends up with a torn meniscus, ends up missing every game from here on out. But, man, that's tough, because Kawhi was playing just amazing basketball against us there in those first couple games.
Yeah, he really was. And I'm just like, I've seen so much really negative stuff about Kawhi and how he didn't play in the playoffs. And I get that it must be frustrating for Clippers fans, but he had a torn meniscus and he probably played on it in game 2. So I don't know what more they want from him. I mean, I can understand there's a conversation to be had about how effective really is this load management during the regular season. If it's going to lead to issues like this in the playoffs, sure. But a lot of people have been saying some very awful things about Kawhi. So as always, relax online, spend some time off Twitter for a while. I feel for Kawhi. You know he doesn't want to be in this situation, and he was playing really well. Also, as a Suns fan, I thought it was great to have the challenge of Kawhi. I think we needed that. Game 1 was such a wake-up call for us that it was a little bit like, this is now easier, and I think we needed the challenge still. So I think it'll be fine in the end, but it would have been nice to have Kawhi just to push us a little bit more.
Yeah, that is a good point. And, you know, he definitely pushed us in those first 2 games. They obviously took game 1. But, man, I kind of have like an overarching question for this in particular. You said it was tough with Kawhi, and we needed that challenge. The next 3 games the 3 games that we won after that, they were all challenging to us without Kawhi and Paul George too.
That's true.
Do you think that's because we were so focused in on stopping a Kawhi Leonard-led team to not quite prepare for what they were going to do? I mean, obviously their defense changed in ways where they played ultra aggressive, even more so after Kawhi went out. So a lot of things did change, but it seems like we should have got a better grip on it by game 5, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's a combination of things. 1, we probably did game plan a lot for Kawhi. 2, I think we were resting on our laurels a little bit because we got a little too excited. And then 3, I think a couple guys stepped up unexpectedly. I mean, Norm Powell had 42 points in a game. That will probably never happen to him again, but good for him. So stuff like that, stuff that's a little bit of an anomaly, but it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. And then the last thing is that I think a big issue is the way they match up on us actually was, I think, in the Clippers' favor a lot. We talked about this with Deandre Ayton, with Mason Plumlee and Zubac being very difficult for Ayton. Just the style that those two play tends to be tough for Ayton. And here's the thing. Ayton did not play poorly in a lot of these games. He didn't put up like spectacular numbers. But aside from game 1, he was not nearly as bad as everyone is saying he was. Believe it or not, I believe this is still the case. He was leading the whole league in playoff rebounding. You might not realize that from the eye test, but that's the case. He was rebounding very well. So, but I do think that the way that Zubac and Plumlee play tend to be tough for Ayton. And then if you look at Westbrook, who just will hound the ball, who plays really aggressively, a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of it was just like the perfect storm for us to have these really gritty, tough, grinded out games.
Yeah, that's true. And the one thing that I kind of think about just looking at the Clippers in general is once Kawhi goes down, all pressure to win is truly gone. The negative pressure. I think that really allows guys to just go absolutely wild. Like Russ, aside from game 5, was it game 1? Game 1 he had the stinker, but they won, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when that pressure's gone, I think a lot of that happened for Russ in general when he got traded to this team. But once those guys went down, and Russ and Powell, and even guys off the bench like Mann and Highland at points, they just were playing like it didn't matter if they messed up. And a lot of the time that was good for them because they were able to force some things that they wouldn't do with Kawhi or PG out on the court. And it definitely paid off for them at times. So it was an interesting series overall. And the matchups that they were giving us, I mean, it was a dogfight. And it was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel this way with almost every playoff series, that in the moment I'm like, this is stressful, I don't like this. I mean, I do like it, of course, but it's like very intense, so much stress, sometimes hard to watch. Sometimes I'm like, okay, it's a commercial, I got to get up and walk around or something. But then once it's over, I'm like, Oh, yeah, that was great. I really liked that.
Yeah, I hear you. Just to close out this game 3 here, Booker had 45 on 29 shot attempts.
Yeah.
That's a lot. 18 for 29, though. That's efficient.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That's a ton. Next leading was Chris Paul with 18 attempts, and then Durant with 15. So, all in all, I'm happy that our guys like that are taking plenty of shots. I'd maybe like to see Durant putting up more than Paul on an average, but I think this was more of a one-time thing.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting, too, is I've heard some interesting takes on who's the first option and who's the second option between Booker and KD. And we know it's like a 1A, 1B kind of thing, more like. But really, I think that can differ from game to game, depending on how teams are going to defend. Like, Kevin Durant would touch the ball and get triple teamed at times. He can still score in that case, which is incredible. But he's smart enough to realize you can get a much easier shot and a much better look if you just pass to another one of the greatest scorers in our game right now in Devin Booker. Or if we have Josh Okogie or Torrey Craig hot in that game, pass out to them to try a three. Or Chris Paul, who he is still getting to his spots and making some nice shots. Not as much as we're accustomed to, but he's still doing that a little bit. So it's really nice to know that we can kind of alternate who's the first option between Booker and Kevin Durant. Even within the same game, that can change.
Yep, it's a beautiful thing, and I don't know if you mentioned this, but the Kevin Durant, Deandre Ayton relationship.
Oh, yeah.
KD is a very willing passer to DA, and it's burned him a few times because DA with some butterfingers here and there has just not received the entry pass every time just flawlessly. But KD looks for Ayton, and it's something that I love. And when Ayton gets going early in the game, that's normally a good sign for us.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Yep.
All right. Moving on to game 4, another win, 112-100. Kevin Durant leads the way in this one with 31, Book with 30, CP3 19 and 9 assists.
This was a weird game because for the first 3 quarters, it was really, really close. And they'd take a little bit of a lead, and then we'd come back and take a little bit of a lead, and back and forth and back and forth. And then until at the end, we just kind of ran away with it. And it was almost one of those games where the Clippers were just worse than we were. Like, the Clippers were they were bad in this game.
Yeah, they had Russ show up, but that's literally it. He was 17 for 29 from the floor, 37 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Russ is it's kind of an anomaly. It's just I've never seen, I think I said this in game 1 or 2. I've never seen a player play so well and so poorly in the same game from possession to possession. It's honestly crazy.
It is. It really is. The other thing that's interesting here is I don't think we played all that well either. And the bench, we probably need to talk about the bench. Our bench had 9 total points. And only 2 guys, Josh Okogie and Bismack Biyombo, scored at all. I believe it was 6 for Okogie and 3 for Biyombo.
Right.
That's not going to work after this. Like, that's going to be really bad. I believe, in game 3, our bench combined for 18 points. And unfortunately, that was one of their better showings. So, this is kind of scary.
I'm nervous about it, and I know a lot of us were rejoicing after this one when Sham had only logged 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that seemed like a step in the right direction, but then you throw Damian Lee out there for 14 minutes, and he gets 1 shot up. He did some other things, though. A rebound, an assist, and a steal. Good stuff, obviously, but it feels like we are just slogged down when the bench comes in. And I just look at TJ Warren and Terrence Ross there. thinking, man, these guys could probably get a few minutes in here at some points. But, I mean, the Terrence Ross defensive deficiencies are real. I don't know if I'd love him out there for extended periods of time. And who knows about TJ Warren lately? He played 3 minutes in one game, and that's it, it feels like. I just don't know. I feel like something needs to get fixed there, but I don't know what it is.
I mean, I think we talked about this with Shamet a little bit, how, like, he is one of Monty's guys. We know that Monty loves Shamet. It seems to me like TJ Warren just isn't one of Monty's guys. I wonder if that's a little bit part of it. Like, the way he plays isn't really what Monty typically would look for. So, but I mean, something has to be different. I mean, I don't know why Shamet is coming into these games. He has been so bad. Like, I don't think he would even, like, be on a roster for another team at this point.
Yeah, Landry had his moments in the regular season, and they were few and far between. But it's tough seeing him log minutes in playoff games right now, and all the crap that the Suns got about their bench after this Kevin Durant trade. It's some of that's true. We're a little weak there, and I don't know if it'll happen in this Nuggets series upcoming, but I'm worried about our bench truly getting exposed in a big-time, meaningful game. And we might be getting close. We'll see.
Yeah, well, and we know Campaign is back. He
True.
did play, I believe he played 3 minutes in Game 5.
Yeah.
Which, of course, they're going to ease him back in. But, I mean, Payne did not have a very good regular season between being injured and just struggling. So that, while it's nice to have another option, it's still not very encouraging overall.
Yep, that's true. And the more minutes that, just Campaign specifically here, the more minutes that Chris Paul runs here, he's got to be averaging 38-ish minutes per game.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting a little bit concerning, but luckily we took care of the series and we're off for another day here. So
yes, and it's really interesting, this Nuggets series, how the schedule shakes out for the first 4 games. Game 1 is on Saturday in Denver. Game 2 is on Monday in Denver. Makes sense. Game 3 isn't until Friday here in Phoenix.
Ooh.
I don't know why there's a 3-day gap. And it also makes less sense because I believe the Footprint Center had booked a comedian for that same Friday. So I don't understand why they didn't opt for Thursday. But whatever. And then the Game 4 would be Monday here. So just kind of typical, 1 day off. So I'm really not sure what's happening with that schedule. And it's probably going to be helpful for us, though, to have that time off, given that we're probably going to see Booker and Durant play 45 minutes a game in Game 1 and 2. So,
yeah, that's possible. And I guess it's nice that we get that due to how round 1 was for us, with just a game every other day up till Game 5 where we got 2 days off. So that was a little more aggressive scheduling than I think any other playoff series.
Yes.
So it's nice to get the little break here, but man, I wish the Nuggets would have lost one more to the Wolves to
it would have been so nice.
Put another couple days off for us. That would have been beautiful, but you can't get that lucky.
Right. And I mean, to have all the way up until Saturday off is going to be nice. I'm sure they're getting some well-needed rest, and I think we're going to be ready to go in Game 1. And we saw in Game 1 against the Clippers, you got to be ready to go. Really, we just need to win one of the first 2 games.
Right.
I would love, obviously I'd love to win both, but I don't know how realistic that is. But if we could just take Game 1, that would be awesome.
Totally agree. Okay, let's do a quick roundup on Game 5. We stuck around on these longer than expected, I'd say. So we'll go quick. D-Book in the win, 47 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 19 for 27 shooting. Masterclass right there.
Yeah,
the guy,
so good.
He had it all in this one.
He could not be stopped. Booker has been, between Booker and Jimmy Butler, those have been the two best players
Hands
in
down.
the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, I think we probably have to give it to Jimmy Butler at this point. He's probably been the best overall. But right after that is Book.
Yeah, Jimmy's doing it with way less help than
Yes.
what D-Book has too.
Yes.
It just willing that team to win. It was really fun watching the Heat
To
play.
see them beat the Bucks in 5, that was incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I am so thrilled. The Bucks were the scariest team to me in the playoffs. I was like, I do not want to face them again.
No.
And there's no chance that we will now.
No. And not even, was it 23 free throw attempts from Giannis in that last game? And he only made 10 or something like that.
Amazing. Yeah.
Ouch. Too bad he couldn't have pulled that 2 years ago in the finals.
I
God,
know.
he turned into prime Steve Nash from the line a few of those games.
He did. He really did. Yeah.
All right, don't get too salty about that, buddy. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah. So Booker was great, though.
Yeah, and in the closeout, Durant, too. The quietest 31 points I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, really.
It just, everyone's saying Durant needs the ball more to close out the game. I do agree with that. But the general sentiment of he needs the ball more, I don't know. I feel like he just takes what's easy for him, and he doesn't try to force too much, and we should all just really appreciate that.
And, like, everything is easy for him.
True.
But it's so funny because there were multiple times in this game where I would just think, wow, we really need a 3 right here. And then KD would just pull up from 3 and drain it. That happened multiple times.
Yeah. Just from above the clouds, he pops up and no one bothers him. It's so crazy. And I mean, I've watched plenty of Kevin Durant basketball over the years, but none quite as many in succession as I have right now. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing watching that guy play.
It makes you appreciate really how good that upper echelon of NBA players are between him and LeBron. Yeah. I mean, if LeBron played for the Suns, we would be saying this exact same thing. We'd be saying, wow, LeBron really is the best to do it. We would be saying those things if he played for the Suns, and we all know it.
Oh, so. don't even mention it, you know?
But Kevin Durant, I know it does. Kevin Durant is showing us this. We are seeing his greatness on a nightly basis. And man, he is just in a whole nother league a lot of the time. It just looks so easy for him.
Right. And something I'll just put out there is wait till we actually need him.
Yeah.
You know, when it's really on the line. I'm so excited. Devin Booker said recently in an interview that he's committed his life to basketball. And it's just showing. You know? Yes. Oh man,
it's amazing.
I'm excited for those guys.
Yeah, it's great. It's also cool just how much Booker loves Phoenix. I saw his recent Instagram posts. He did. It was like a thing with Nike, and he's in one of his classic cars, and he's at Camelback Mountain, and just like seeing that photo shoot, I'm like, this is Phoenix. Devin Booker in a classic car with Camelback in the background. Yeah. That is Phoenix. That just sums us up so well.
And along that line, it was after Game 4. He was getting interviewed by Tom and Tom after the game, and he ends it by saying, "See you guys at the crib on Friday."
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so great. I love it so much. I have seen some interesting takes from people online just saying, Booker has now moved into the top spot as my favorite Sun of all time. A lot of people saying he has surpassed Nash.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's quite there yet for me, but it's I mean, he's close. He's definitely in the 2 spot for my favorite Sun ever.
Man, I don't even know what I haven't thought about it like that lately.
This is a good off-season topic.
Well, yeah, let's say
how that, because we've talked about this before, but it was years ago.
Right.
This will be nice to revisit in the off-season.
I like it.
Maybe after the parade.
Oh. If I survive the heat stroke that I get at the parade, we'll do that.
It'll be worth it.
Oh, okay. Let's move it on and just talk about the Nuggets series a little bit that's upcoming here. And we can start things off by saying we split the regular season series 2-2. They won the first 2, we won the second 2. But if you recall, we played late in the season, and their bench gave us a run for our money at the end. So the Nuggets aren't messing around. Jokic is obviously a stud, and it's going to take a lot to take care of him on the defensive end. But this is a roster that's big, pretty athletic, and I'm a little concerned about how we match up with them defensively, just the starting lineups, because they're big and they can score.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel like the regular season didn't give us a great picture of what this series will actually look like. Their bench does scare me. It's definitely better than ours. Who knows how much that will matter if we're playing our starters 45 minutes a game, maybe 40 minutes a game again. I hope we don't have to, but we might. The way we match up, though, is interesting. There are some obvious ones, but I think really my concern is who does Chris Paul guard? That's probably the biggest thing for me.
Yep. And
it's probably...
Who do you think?
Well, my guess is KCP.
I'm between KCP and Michael Porter Jr. But I go KCP. I think last year in the series, didn't we see Chris guard MPJ a little bit? Didn't MPJ?
A little bit.
Yeah, I'd lean KCP. But then there's one, the athleticism and size difference there is worrying. And KCP is a guard who likes to go get some boards. So, like Russ, a little bit, our guards are going to have to be just super consistent in getting a body on their guy because, they outsize us pretty much everywhere except for Gordon and KD at the 4.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jokic and Ayton,
yep.
I actually feel pretty good about that matchup. Ayton tends to play pretty well against Jokic. My guess is we will see typical Jokic games, 30-point triple-doubles, and we will win. That's kind of my guess. Get ready to see Jokic put up big numbers. But Ayton will do his best to contain that. And on the offensive end, Ayton is going to have a better time. He matches up much better on the offensive end with Jokic than Zubac or Plumlee. So that I'm excited about. Gordon and KD, probably fine. Murray and Booker, actually. I feel pretty good about that. Devin Booker has been playing great defense. But then I guess, if it's Chris Paul on KCP, and then who do we start, Okogie or Torrey Craig? My guess is probably Torrey Craig still.
I lean Torrey Craig too. I think he's a better matchup on Porter just for the size. But Okogie needs to be playing huge minutes off the bench too.
He does, yes. And I imagine that we'll probably see some Okogie first off the bench kind of stuff, where maybe Chris Paul sits and we just let Book or KD bring the ball up. KD has our offense has been very good when KD initiates it. So I bet we will see quite a bit of that.
Yeah. Aaron Gordon is the guy I'm watching out for the most, aside from Jokic, though. I think he just is so big and strong. KD is going to He's given up some muscle to Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's going to be a fun matchup just to keep an eye on, because if Aaron Gordon plays well for them, that's one of their tickets to win. They need production from 3 of those starters. Jokic is going to probably give it to you. Murray's going to probably give it to you. One of those other guys has to step up, and it's been Aaron Gordon this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. He does give up some muscle, yes, but I still feel good about that matchup with KD. And I bet Aaron Gordon's going to be tired on the other end having to guard KD.
Right. Yep. It's going to be such a fun series again against these guys. It's not going to be Suns in 4, punch 2 guys in the face because they poured a beer on you type situation. But I'm excited for this one. It's going to be much more competitive than the Clippers one. And don't get me wrong, Clippers were competitive, but we had an obvious edge there.
Yeah.
It's not quite as obvious in this series.
Yep. How many games? What are you predicting?
Suns in 6.
That's mine too. I wouldn't be shocked if it went 7, truly, but my prediction is 6.
I was right with Suns in 5 on the Clippers series, by the way.
You were? Yep, you were right on with that.
I was very nervous after we lost game 1. Don't get me wrong. I thought my chances were out the window after that, but backdoor sweep, baby.
I mean, a lot of people were thinking that, the Suns season is over. We're going to lose in 4. The playoffs are so reactionary. And I'm part of it. I mean, I can't say that I don't do that ever, because I do sometimes.
It's funny. It's easy to get down in the dumps, and then all it takes is one possession where Chris Paul, KD, Booker, and Deandre Ayton all happen to touch the ball, and it ends in a score, and you're like, oh, there's no one who can stop this.
Right.
Not for 7 games.
My thing with this is I wish this were the Western Conference Finals. It is going to be hard to face whoever we end up facing after this if we win. And likely that's going to be the Warriors or the Kings, I guess. Or the Lakers, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be the winner of the Warriors-Kings series.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to be the Warriors.
The Lakers games have just always kind of gotten me a little bit nervous. And then, I don't know, I'm not too worried about the Lakers overall, because I think we're a better team than the Grizzlies. And just seeing what the Grizzlies can even do to them. Again, they can't hang with us in a 7-game series.
No. I mean, I really think if the Warriors end up winning this series against the Kings, I think they would handle the Lakers pretty easily.
True.
So, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a slog from here to the finals if we make it that far.
Yeah. Every Western Conference game from here on out is going to be fun.
Yes.
Well, once we get to the second round, especially, but I mean, even as these first round games close and someone wins the series, it's going to be fun. Totally. There's good basketball happening for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there have been so many good games. It has been fun to just turn the TV on and see who's playing. Right. Lots of close games. I mean, Warriors-Kings has had some close games. Bucks-Heat has had very close games. Lots of really great basketball happening right now.
For sure.
Let's talk about our bet question now. So we're looking at game 2, which is Monday, May 1st. And we are going to be guessing DeAndre Ayton rebounds in game 2. I'm trying to see who picked first last time. It looks like it was you. So I will go first. I'm going to say 12.
I'll go 11. Sorry.
That's okay. So let us know on Twitter at Sunny and PHX Pod, or comment on our YouTube video of this episode, Sunny and PHX Podcast. How many rebounds do you think DeAndre Ayton will have in game 2? And whoever is closest will get a shout out on our next episode.
All right. And one more quick little segment here before non-sports. Some pretty awesome news for all Suns and Mercury fans. The Suns are moving back to I don't know the proper term for it, but normal television, like a normal channel that you can get by plugging an antenna into the back of your TV.
Yep.
The Suns are back on channel 3 and the Mercury, and this is gonna be happening next year after they part from Bally Sports.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. This is I believe it's the ABC affiliate. It's Arizona family. This is where the Suns played for quite a while back in the day. I am thrilled that we're back into this system. Bally Sports was awful. I don't have anything good to say about it. I'm really, really hoping the D-backs follow suit because I have actually been paying quite a bit of attention to them. They have a lot of issues with Bally right now. Like, Bally doesn't carry D-backs games on their app. The only way to watch them is if you have a provider that carries Bally, like Cox or DirecTV Stream or whatever. That's the only way to watch D-backs. If you don't have that, you cannot watch on Bally's app, which is horrible. It's very clear that Bally has filed for bankruptcy and is struggling big time. My hope is that the D-backs follow suit, and it's looking like that may be somewhat realistic given that we don't know what Bally's going to look like a year from now, or I guess next like basketball season. So pretty excited about this for the Suns, though. I love what Matt Ishbia had to say, to paraphrase, basically that it's not about money in the short term. He knows the money will come, and the way that happens is making Suns games more accessible to everyone. And this is looking like it can increase the viewership in Arizona from about 800,000 people per game, or I don't know if that's per game or if that's just like a total average or what that is. But from that 800,000 like subscriber type number to allowing millions of people across Arizona to watch the Suns on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think I saw over 2 million households would have access to Suns games at that point, or some number like that.
That's what it is. Yeah, we'll have access. That's good. And in the long run, that is probably profitable, because those are going to be the people who say, wow, this team is actually exciting. I want to go to a game or two.
Right.
Whereas when you can't watch them, you look at a box score and you say, oh, wow, well, so-and-so had a good game, but it's not as exciting as being able to watch it regularly. I think about people like my in-laws who don't watch a lot of TV. They have, I think, HBO Max at this point, just whatever streaming service they get for free through a phone plan or whatever. And they have an antenna. And, when we watch something like the Super Bowl or whatever, we'll, just pull the antenna out. But now they can do that for every single Suns game. And I know I've mentioned on the show before that my father-in-law likes the Suns and he would like to follow them. He knows he can't watch quite as religiously as people like us do. But if he had access on an antenna, he would be able to turn that game on every so often. So I'm really thrilled for people who are in positions like that.
Well, yeah, man. I remember in my early 20s when my first year of, I think it was just plain DirecTV, when the introductory rate ran out and then I was getting hit with an almost $200 cable bill.
Yes.
I was like, no way, I'm not doing this. So I ditched everything, and if I would have been able to watch Suns games by just plugging in my antenna to my TV, I wouldn't have cared at all. That's so nice. It's going to be just so convenient for so many people in so many different, honestly, walks of life. I mean,
yeah, totally.
I mean, your granny at the nursing home can probably watch the Suns now, that type of thing. Everybody can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really, really thrilled about this. I think it's just another great move from Matt Ishbia. And, yeah, super excited. It also gives more options for so long because, I like having a few more channels. It's nice to get ESPN and TNT, and we've talked about this years ago, Food Network and HGTV and stuff like that, too.
Yeah.
That you can't get just through an antenna. So I will probably move to a different streaming service, But it's nice to now have more options, whether I'm looking at Sling or YouTube TV or whatever. YouTube TV has their deal with Sunday Ticket now, so I'm probably going to look into that. But I know I'm going to be able to save money. So, yeah, that's going to be nice.
And, I mean, here's even a minor advantage. You know, when you get a notification, you're watching a stream legally or potentially illegally on the internet, and you're 30-plus seconds behind, and your phone's coming in with notifications for end of quarter score or final score of the game, and there's still, you know, you're waiting on them to hit a free throw to win it or something like that, and you get spoiled. Plug it in, like, if you're watching on your TV, that's actually live. Yeah. You know, you're seeing it just as everyone else is. So another minor advantage. I'm really excited for it, though. Super exciting. Yeah. Hopefully it does create a million new Suns fans or whatever could potentially happen.
I hope so. Yeah, it would be great. And the other thing that's cool is this doesn't affect League Pass one bit. This is just for people in Arizona.
True.
So it opens things up for people like us. And then if you're out of state and you're using League Pass, nothing changes. So that's awesome.
Are they still doing the team pass where you can just get it for one team?
I'm pretty sure they do, yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's so nice, yeah. Yeah, I like the way they do that. So, all right. Well, with that, we will move to the non-sports section of the show. This is a question from our favorite website, teambuilding.com/blog/icebreaker-questions. This is a question that I'm pretty sure we've addressed in the past, but so much has changed since the last time we talked about this that I thought it'd be interesting to revisit. Would you rather stay in a hotel or an Airbnb?
I was thinking about it, and I have a pretty firm answer. If it's for more than 2 nights, an Airbnb. Less than 2 nights, hotel.
I have absolutely changed my position on this. Hotel, all the way.
All the way.
All the way. Like, this is the thing. The rates for Airbnb have gone up so much. Their initial draw was that it was way cheaper than a hotel. I have not run into an Airbnb that's cheaper than a hotel in some time. So, you know, if I'm going to go to a hotel, I'm getting what I pay for. You know, it can be expensive, but you are getting possibly a continental breakfast. You are not having someone email you, say, hey, put the trash cans out, and if you don't, there's going to be a fine, you know? It's also, I've never had like a bad Airbnb experience necessarily, but I've had some kind of strange ones. We stayed at an Airbnb in San Diego once, and the house we stayed in was close to a lot of houses that clearly the same guy was renting out. And I just remember we were out at the beach and we got a text saying, hey, did you just walk by or did you just open the gate or something? And I was like, no, never heard anything further than that. But I've had some strange experiences like that you're just not going to get at a hotel.
That's true. Yeah, I can relate to that. And I've never felt really truly inconvenienced at an Airbnb for like the cleanup or put your dishes in the dishwasher, that sort of thing. That doesn't really bother me, but I guess it's more risky to do it in Airbnb because they can just say like, oh, our furnace doesn't work since you were here. We're going to bill you for it. That type of thing would rather avoid.
Exactly.
But
yeah. Or so you know exactly what you're going to get with a hotel. We learned a fun fact when we went to Sedona about a year ago that in Airbnb terms, romantic means small. So, yeah, we had rented this place and it was marketed as like, oh, cottage, Sedona, getaway, whatever. And like, it was tiny. It was 1 room and a bathroom, basically. And it was fine because we weren't there very much. It was a nice enough place. You know, it's Sedona and the weather was nice. We were outside the vast majority of the time, but we walked in and we were like, oh, so this is what they mean by romantic. They mean the bed is right next to the kitchen.
That's fair. And if it says cozy, that's maybe 20 square feet.
Right. So,
dude, those pictures on Airbnb and honestly, just like Zillow and real estate in general, they make places look so incredible compared to what they really are. I don't know if it's the filter or the lens that they use to make things look elongated or something like that. I don't get it, but it's nuts.
Yeah.
Like I recently looked at my house listing.
So did I. I was going to say the same thing. I did this yesterday.
And I was like, dang, this place looks nice. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, this is actually just my living room, and with all my furniture in it, it doesn't look anything like this. It's interesting.
Right. Yep. I went through the exact same thing just yesterday.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying I have like anything super against Airbnb. I definitely see the benefits. When we go to Vegas for Summer League, if we're going for a long period of time, there are huge benefits to Airbnb, especially if you're going with a group of people and sharing space for a while. Totally understandable. But like you said, if it's a couple days, hotel is the way to go.
Yeah, and even in Vegas, I've come around on that. If we were to ever, which I really don't plan on doing again, but going to Summer League for like a week, I just stay down on the Strip. I don't think I do Airbnb for that. I just, you just got to buy into the Vegas lifestyle when you're there. So why not be down on the Strip?
And that's why I don't think I'll ever go to Vegas for more than like 3 days ever again.
Yeah. Every 5 years of my life, a day gets knocked off the Vegas cap,
Yeah.
It used to be 8 days. And then
we went for 8 days that way. I know. I think back and I'm like, how did we do that?
It was fun, but we made some sacrifices that week.
That's absolutely correct. Yes, we did. So, yeah, I mean, I think in the future, it's 2-3 days max. But I don't mind going for a weekend. Get in on a Friday, make the most of it, go to a bunch of basketball games on a Saturday, come back home on Sunday. That's Vegas for you.
That's doable. That's doable. And coming up just a little over a month now, or 2 months.
Yeah, couple months. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh.
2 months.
We got to talk about this.
We do.
Off air.
Off the Michaels.
Yes.
All right. Well, we thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back. Let's say maybe after game 2 would probably be a good one. Isn't that when we get our little break? Is that
we have our big stretch of time off. So likely after game 2.
Likely after game 2.
It's just like atrocious, but most likely I'd say after game 2.
If we keep it within 40 in game 2, we'll record after game 2.
Okay.
All right. We thank you all for tuning in at Sunny and PHX Pod on Twitter, Sunny and Phoenix Podcast on YouTube. Check it out. We'll be back after game 2. Thanks for tuning in, and go Suns.